A lot of people like to come to me for creative advice. They ask me, Mike, how can you be so creative? How can you think of all these things? Where do you get your inspiration from? Like, how many shrooms do you have to take in order to be that creative? Or is it LSD? Could you help me out? I'm trying to start a career as a rapper or as a blogger or as an entrepreneur. And then I tell them, well, you just revealed to me your first problem, which is that you're looking outside of yourself for your solution, for your creativity. These drugs, shrooms, LSD, cannabis, etc., may give you some kind of temporary inspiration and take the edge off or the pressure off of being creative. But in the long term, to maintain that through substances, it's really impossible. I don't think anyone could genuinely make quality, high-level creative stuff using these substances. I do not use substances. Have I used substances in the past? Yes, absolutely. When I was younger, I tried cannabis, I tried mushrooms, I tried LSD, all of that. But the conclusion that I came to eventually was that the inspiration that I got from using those drugs was only temporary. In the long run, it wouldn't last. And so I let go of them and I began looking within myself. I began exploring my emotions, exploring my pain. Pain itself, the suffering, the sadness that you've been to, the hard times that you've been through, that's the real fuel for your creativity, for your ideas. If you look at any brilliant, great creative mind, behind them is some sort of tragedy, a very, very sad story. But what they were able to do was take their sadness and channel it through a creative purpose. And, that's what I do. I don't want to get into what my sad story is. I think that will all be revealed in time. Okay, so I'm not really concerned about it right now. But what I want to help you out with is how to be creative. So, firstly, don't look outside of yourself for your creativity. It's all within you. Can you ask people for advice? Sure. But at the end of the day, what you're really looking for is in your heart. It's in your mind. Okay? And that doesn't mean that you just sit at home and just think and look inside your heart and say, well, where's my creativity? It just means that wherever you go, you carry your ideas, your creativity with you. The second piece of advice I could give you is, if you become too focused, right, it turns out to be a disadvantage because you're really becoming narrow-minded. You've become so fixated on a particular goal or on creating something that you're missing the real point of life, right, which is to constantly be learning, constantly be sharing with others, growing with yourself, etc. So if you become too fixated, it can also be a detriment. It can set you back a lot of time. You have to take it lightly. You have to take creativity, let it come naturally. To give you an example of people who are able to concentrate, but they're also able to let it go and relax, I'll use a story, an example from Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein, as we know, very famous scientist, mathematician. He's also a political thinker. Many things. A very, very special person. He would spend hours and hours thinking about his theories, and actually he would visualize them. He worked at a patent office, and he could finish his work, and 6 hours of work, he could finish it in an hour or two. So he would have 4 hours to basically just sit at his desk, and he would just imagine things, right? That's when he had his miracle year. He came out with 3 historic papers in 1 year. It was all because he was able to basically visualize it in his mind, right? He didn't need to be at a esteemed university in order to do that. It was all in his mind, right? But one trick that Einstein used in cultivating his ideas was when he got stuck somewhere and he couldn't get past it, what he would do is he would play his violin, right? So that allowed him to relax a little bit, to take the edge off, to not be so fixated on what he was trying to accomplish. And when he was playing his violin, wouldn't you know it, sometimes when he was playing, all of a sudden, boom, an idea would come to him, right? So that is an example of, it's like you pull the string, the rubber band, and then you let it go, right? If you pull too tight, it's gonna snap, it's gonna break, and you're gonna burn out, right? So it's a constant focus, relax type of thing. And then the third piece of advice I can give is, in order to get the most out of your focused time, as I mentioned, I'd recommend meditating. Meditating is very powerful, right? You go to the gym, you work out your body. What about your brain? Your brain you can work out by meditating, okay? I meditate, I try to do at least 2 hours a day, right? Meditating, if you can do it right, is actually even more powerful than sleep. It gives your body a greater rest than sleep. And again, that's a whole different topic we could get into in how you meditate and all this. It's not easy, right? Just like nothing in life is easy, but you have to constantly do it in order to improve and get better at it. In any case, this is an episode on creativity from Voice of an Age, Michael Nectaris. Thank you guys so much for being out here. As you can see, this is a photo here. The image on YouTube that you see here is a photo that I took last year today, 2019, June 12, 2019. And you can see the Salesforce Tower, the skyline of San Francisco. I was on my bicycle and I saw this shot and I was like, oh, that's beautiful. So there's some inspiration, and there's an example of using inspiration from the past to inspire the future, right? Because I saw this picture and then I got the idea to create this video. It's more like an audio. It's like an audio tutorial book. Thank you guys again. You have a wonderful night, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.